Views on the market's performance today, it's below the 4,000 resistance level.
Yes, Lerato, good afternoon. The market down again today, just below the 4,000 mark. Though pre-trading, we got two big announcements, and those NRC results came through. Huge increase in profit before tax and after tax, over 50%. Though the market wasn't moved much by that. NIC was flat at 148 shillings, just gaining 1 shilling over yesterday's 147. In addition to that, Centum also came out with a news report of having disposed its holding in Carbasid, and the two, Centum and Carbasid, were the big movers of the day. Centum up about 4%. Other than that, the Kenya shilling woes continue to bring down the market. Even our foreign investors who've been really sprouting out the market really now at these levels are beginning to wonder if the gains actually would translate through their books due to the Kenya shilling weakness. So on the market today, some news coming in, but not too much to bring the market upwards.
Let's talk about that shilling, which is weaker now against the US dollar, just over 86 shillings to the dollar. We've seen the central bank come into the market 3 days now in a row trying to buy euros. Is this an aggressive enough strategy?
Well, the news coming through is that there's quite some speculation as to the actual reasons for this. It's some commentators feel that the central bank is coming in to try and cover some position in terms of debt that is maybe due, but in the market we're not feeling and we're not too well aware of that kind of debt. So we're not really sure of what the central bank is doing at this point in time, and the uncertainty is really tumbling the market and not a good pointer towards the NSE market.
I mean, obviously, high dollar demand's also been fueled by the fuel marketers in the midst of what are called fuel shortages in Kenya, as well as rising import costs. How much more pressure are we going to see the shilling succumb to?
Well, it's likely to go beyond the 86 level mark. The shilling is really plummeting against the dollar, and similarly the euro, which is not viewed too much by most players. We remain a dollar fixation. We remain with the dollar fixation. So the euro and the pound also, the shilling is losing ground. Though internationally, unfortunately, the dollar has actually been losing ground. So with the shilling losing ground, even against the greenback, things are not eagering too well for the Kenya shilling.
Okay, let's talk about who did profit from this market today, those who gained. We know the commercial sector and the services stocks were the major drivers of the market. They've been thin volumes, prices haven't really varied, but any counter that stood out for you today?
For me, this big counter that stood out was Centum Investment, and I like to compare it with what you have on the JSE, Brimstone Asset Management, in that they have some cross-holding interest through the True brands. For Centum, by divesting from Carbasid, it's unlocked some tremendous value. They've made over 190% in terms of a 2-year holding period. That really is great news for Centum, which is a stock that doesn't get too much attention from most players, I think, purely because of the liquidity and the capitalization, market capitalization aspect. Otherwise, I think Centum is really the best pick of the non-bank financials.
Well, the day will finally come on the 18th of May when we see the full year results for Safaricom that so many market players have been anticipating. They're scheduled to release their results next week. Already forecasted that we'll see revenue growth somewhere in the region of 14.4%, earnings before tax somewhere in the region of 40%, but real pressure on the balance sheet caused by losses on the voice side. What are you expecting from Safaricom?
Yes, on the whole, we do expect very positive and strong earnings from Safaricom. However, the big concern from the services is that the voice is actually the portal towards Safaricom. make no mistake about it, though data is a big revenue earner for the company, it's actually the voice that draws in new clients, and actually that's where they are losing out in that a few of their subscribers are actually jumping ship onto Bharti Airtel. So huge earnings expected from Safaricom, but mainly driven through M-Pesa and the data services, though the voice is really something to look out for.
I mean, obviously, we've seen the share price decline somewhat today in the region of about 3 shillings 85 cents, so below the 4 shillings mark. Is that an indication of market sentiment of the results that are coming through next week, or are there other issues at play? I mean, today they announced a mega deal with DSTV.
Oh, yeah, there are quite a number of other issues at play with Safaricom. Though I'm not the most bullish person on it, I wish Ali Khan would have one or two things to say about that. But I'm not particularly bullish on Safaricom in terms of the going forward, the future for it. I think they've had their best days behind them, and the growth may be beginning to stagnate at this level. Other issues coming to the fore are that there's with the DSTV and with the M-Pesa, huge service improvement, good deals for Safaricom, but we're not too sure that this will really ramp up the future for Safaricom.